I'm the second half.
Hi, my name's Evie and I'm with Facts Me Your Feelings, aka
Sam.
Aiden.
and we're gonna have a juicy interview. Welcome to the couch. So what song are you guys gonna be singing today?
We're going to be performing Trapped Inside Your Dreams.
That's a new one, I assume?
Yes, it's going to be off the new EP, which doesn't have a set release date yet, but we want to aim to release it for an American winter, so roughly November, December.
Oh, awesome. That's something to look forward to. What's been your biggest inspiration for this new EP?
I went to a pretty religious school, and then I graduated. I've been in university for 2 years now, and I've started doing a lot more philosophy. And the more I study philosophy, I started to feel a little bit dejected, because the things I kind of believed in, it really makes you question them, which is a good thing. I like having kind of what I believe in questioned constantly. But you just feel a bit like dejected and down because what you thought was a possibility kind of you think is maybe an impossibility now. And then it's vice versa as well. I've had my mind open up with some stuff that I thought was a true impossibility. Like there's a small shrivel it can be true. And this whole EP is kind of just about having certain beliefs in things, whether it be in life, or family, or religion, and kind of having those thrown out the window or blow up in your face. Which was really difficult, but it was something good to write about because the whole EP is just about questioning.
And you?
Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of stuff from like the 80s and 90s, so a lot of the instrumentation I've tried to do a lot of stuff kind of inspired by like the Smiths, Elliott Smith, who I won't stop talking about. And then just recently, two of my favourite artists right now are like Phoebe Bridgers and Julian Baker, and they've just got, Julian Baker especially has these really beautiful guitar arrangements in her songs, and absolutely smothered in reverb, so that's the kind of thing that I've been going for.
And what's the creative process for
For the other EPs we've done, it was a lot more 50% writing wise, but for this EP especially, it's been Aiden coming up with the ideas, then me kind of locking him in the studio and going, alright, write out the song, and then I come in almost to produce it rather than write it, and be like, I think this part you've written works well, here's what we need to add in, so he'll record everything and then I'll mix and master it.
Okay, so lyrics and I guess like the melodies, do you deal mainly with lyrics? Or
I deal pretty much exclusively with lyrics, especially with this EP. I've been sending them to Aiden more to get his feedback on them, but instrumental wise he pretty much did this whole EP instrumentally, and then I just kind of came in to produce it more than anything.
And you were saying that you were inspired by like the Smiths and Phoebe Bridgers. Who else inspires you?
I just listen to the same like 5 artists on repeat. I really like Jacob Lee. He's one of the few artists I've seen live, and he kind of does what we do, where he's a solo artist, but he'll kind of record everything himself, and he'll bring his friends in to help do it as well. Who else? I really like Cavetown as well. We don't really have any music that's similar to his, but kind of that vibe is really nice. Also, I really like video game music. Like in one of the new songs we're recording, I really like the piano from Super Mario Galaxy, so I just found out how to get that effect pretty well, and I was able to layer that in.
Oh, wow. Okay. And what are your thoughts on musicians in the political sphere, I guess? I mean, a lot of people have a lot of different opinions these days.
Yeah.
I mean, musicians have such a big platform, so whatever they say tends to influence their fans, so what are your thoughts?
Like art in general as a whole influencing like politics and people putting their opinions in their work pieces. It's been a thing for as long as like art's been a thing. I don't see why music needs to be any different, because it can be as much of an art piece as like, I don't know, something you see in a museum or whatever. But yeah, no, it can be a bit dangerous because like if someone with, a couple million monthly listeners on Spotify says something that's uninformed, then it can have like there's an effect on that. But also like, I think it's a really important part of music that there's like the person who's making it, that they are inside the music themselves. And if part of them is their political beliefs, then it should be in there.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with Aiden on that one. I think people always like to complain about things getting too political. It's impossible to avoid, right? Anytime art is involved, people are going to have certain beliefs that they're going to express. I mean, we're not known, but in this EP alone, like I'm singing about religion quite a lot. Like that's inherently political as well. The real difficulty, as Aiden was saying, is sometimes, not too often, like someone like Taylor Swift is actually a really good example of someone who seems quite educated on the matters and is trying to get like young people to understand what's happening in the world. Billie Eilish is another one who's like really involved in trying to get the young people to understand what's actually happening.
If you were stuck on a deserted island, what 2 items would you bring? Should I be a bit like nice? I should have said 3.
What would I take? I'll take a hatchet. I think then I can like build a house, maybe.
I don't know what a hatchet is.
It's like a small axe.
Oh, okay.
A hatchet.
Well, that's a hatchet.
Yeah.
You should take a dictionary.
Yeah.
I'll take a tripod, I'll vlog it.
Like, that's a
Tripod
camera
with
too.
no camera.
Yeah.
Just a tripod?
Going insane.
Oh, okay, no.
Yourself.
Okay, I'll take a hatchet, I'll take a GoPro, and I'll take a guitar.
I'll take my like $10 classical nylon guitar that I had when I was 4 years old.
Oh, wow.
That's
For
one.
that lo-fi
Desert feel.
desert vibe, yeah. Take the Zoom recorder.
Okay.
And then, I don't know, like a milkshake.
And what's one song you can't live without? Or
What's
like
one
one
song?
song that's like changed, like
Oh.
how you've...
Aiden's Death of a Dream is a song I learnt so many years ago, and I still know how to play it, and that's kind of what kickstarted me into writing acoustic music. So probably that song.
Probably Love You Should Have Come Over by Jeff Buckley.
Okay.
It's just like, I don't know, probably one of the best songs, full stop.
That's a big statement there.
It's pretty good.
Where do you guys see yourself in 20 years? Or 10 years?
That's a horror story.
Okay, 10 years realistically.
Yeah.
I've made a couple of like really nice connections just with other musicians I know. So
Oh, thank you. That's so nice of you.
So I'll change it from 10. I'll say 5. Hopefully in the next 5 years, we ourselves and the musicians I know have kind of built enough of a small audience together where we're able to kind of do our own shows of 3 or 4 musicians and able actually to kind of sell out venues.
So what's that moment as a musician, do you think, where you'll think like, oh, I've really made it?
Oh, seeing someone perform a song that like we've written would be pretty,
That would be
would be pretty cool.
that would be pretty awesome to see. Like if we got to the point where like some people were doing covers of our music, that would kind of be a moment of damn.
Yeah.
That would
Like another one would probably be like people recognizing us, but that kind of terrifies me.
We'd hate that.
Yeah.
You'd hate that more than I would, and yeah.
So what's one thing that you would change in the music industry?
Having it so that musicians have like when they go and play a live show somewhere, there's like a consistent how much they get paid is a consistent thing, because it varies wildly and it's really easy for somewhere to go like, oh yeah, I'll pay you this much, and that's like half what the amount they should be paying is. And there's not really much you can do about it. Sometimes there's no other option. And it's pretty tough, like you know, if you're not established, like if you're not a popular band around the area or whatever, let alone getting the first gig is really hard, and then getting like, you know, a good deal to where it's like worth your time, worth like, you know, chucking everything in the car and whatever. Yeah.
And what's some advice you would give to, I guess you guys are up and coming, but what's some advice for like some really early starters?
The genuine bit of advice I can give to people, even if you're not successful, and this kind of goes for things in life in general, I'm not the best musician, but I'm a pretty damn good producer at telling people what to do. My best advice is find musicians, find editors, find people who are way better than you at everything, and convince them to be part of your team.
I feel like in today's day and age, it's so easy to produce stuff, put stuff out there, and like people are just constantly going to the next new thing. Do you guys feel that pressure to keep releasing? Because you said earlier you guys like released and you had like you peaked, and then shortly after, well, not shortly after, well, that's how
No, you can say shortly
and then
after.
shortly after you
Yeah.
kind of went down. Do you feel that like pressure to keep really pushing yourself?
Do you want to go first with this?
I mean, yeah, I feel like there's some sort of pressure. Like like when we finished the last EP, and then like as it was kind of dropping off a bit, like I artistically was in a massive slump, and I just was not coming up with anything, and it felt pretty bad because it's kind of like this is the time that you need to come up with new things, and just nothing was coming. But a while after that, I just kind of forgot about the idea of like, oh, need to get it out by this date, like, or people aren't listening to it anymore, like you got to put something out. Like once I kind of forgot about that, it was kind of, stuff just kind of more naturally came to me. It's just like, some mornings I woke up and like came up with something and it was good. Some mornings I came up with something and it was just awful and I deleted it. But like, yeah, there wasn't, when it was just like coming up with ideas and just kind of seeing what came to me, not having a time limit on that was nice. And then going off of that, having the time limit now is nice because there's just like, to some extent it's just kind of like work and there's a set amount of time you have to put in. So having a time limit on like, mixing stuff or that sort of thing is really, because it kind of, puts you into gear to get it done. Yeah, so I think it's good and bad, like feeling the pressure.
What's your favourite ice cream flavour?
Cookies and cream.
Oh.
What's your favourite ice cream
I
flavour?
don't trust the cookies and cream. I think, cookie dough.
That's like the same thing!
No, cookies and cream is like weird.
Fine, what's yours, Aiden?
I like a lemon sorbet, but that's sorbet.
That's even weirder.
Yeah.
That's someone you can't trust.
It's just lemon!
That's
What?
so gross. I think that's sorbet. I said
It's gross.
ice
You don't
cream
even
and
know
you're
what
like,
it
oh,
is.
I tried lemon sorbet. I didn't live under a rock.
You didn't know what a hatchet was!
Doesn't mean I don't eat. I just don't go to Bunnings.
How could you not go to Bunnings?
When would I ever need to?
There's always a reason to go to Bunnings.
Maybe for you.